part of the community for over 30 years. There's a lot of good things that happen in Hicksville, a lot of volunteers that do a lot of different things, different organizations that do a lot of volunteer things, and it's a lot of volunteer work. I mean, the Red Cross and Bruce and the clothing drive and the beautification committee. A couple months ago, I had an opportunity to speak for the mayor in a CIC meeting in Defiance, and I started listing some of those organizations and clubs. And as I kept saying, and I missed some of them, and I apologize for that, but it was the ones I've seen in the paper or worked with or knew people that were involved with them. And it touched my heart how giving Hicksville is in all different aspects of volunteerism. Thank you for all that do that, and continue to do that each and every day. So, but to my right here is John Adam, and I've gotten to work with him a little bit being on the park board. He's taken upon himself and his committee to enhance the softball fields at our park. And, you know, the youth programs down there that utilize the park are, it makes their experience better to participate and do different things. And a lot of different organizations help enhance the park and make improvements. But meeting with John Adam and talking to him, I thought it'd be a good idea for him to come and kind of talk about his updates that he wants to do for the girls softball side of the park there and improvements. And it's kind of, I don't know if he explained this in his talk, but that's county-owned property. So anything they do, they have to go talk to the county park board and get approval from them, since that's part of the park that's county-owned. And like I said, some of the park is village-owned, some of the park is school-owned. And to me, we all need to work together for those improvements to make, I think we have a great park system here at Hicksville and a lot of improvements. So I won't take any more time. Please welcome John. Last name Zach. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And my name is John Adams. I live here in Hicksville now. I originally my family's from Edgerton. My wife is from Edgerton. I went to school at Fairview. She coached basketball here and really enjoyed when she was here. At the time, we lived in Central Local School District, and while she was here, she loved the school, loved the atmosphere, teachers, and everything she got to work with while she was coaching. We decided to move to Hicksville. Since I spent 14 years in a factory, got laid off and stuff, and I decided to go back to college, and went back to college. Actually ended up getting a job at the school as well, and that's where I'm at today. Been there for 7 years. Really enjoy it. Enjoy working with the kids every day. And then this transition into softball and stuff has been even more of a blessing to work with the kids and everything else, and it's fun to see the path go. So about 3 years ago, I got started with the Hicksville Girls Softball Association. They've always done a lot of great things in the community. Our mission is to provide all these young ladies with a chance to learn the game of softball, enjoy the game of softball, and to hopefully see them succeed and excel in softball. There's been some good times down there and a lot of things building. We got pretty much a whole new board now of members, and over the last couple of years, we've had some turnover of the members, and we thought that side of the park needed some upgrades. It needs some upgrades. There's one restroom on each side for the girls, which sometimes when you're having tournaments and things like that aren't quite enough for the facilities. The park does pay to put porta johns down there and things like that, but so we decided we need to come up with a vision for this project and what we envision this process looking like. And if you know, there's field 1, which is down towards the football field. There's field 2, which is shared. The varsity uses that as well. Then there's field 3, which is used by junior high baseball. It's pretty much set up for junior high baseball. And then there's field 4 up top, which is, we use that for junior high softball. And then they're all used kind of during the rec league in the summer. So the fields get used a lot for tournaments and things like that. The main thing when we decided to get together as a board, we decided that it's not always the outside structure is what everyone sees. You don't necessarily see the field driving through the park, but if you don't have good level surfaces in the field, then if you can't have games because they're getting rained out or whatever, then your concession stand don't mean anything, or anything else don't mean anything, so you can't play the games. So we decided as a board to put a phase process together where we're going to try to build this side of the park up in phases. So there's several board members that have all went into doing this. And phase one, right off the get-go, was basically a new storage shed. We decided to start small. We rented some storage space and things like that, and we thought if we could recoup some of that, and we also would like to have a lawnmower down there and a place to store that. And the old storage shed, some of you may have seen it going through the park, the old white one that's now disappeared, it was not a good looking building. So we had a storage shed we bought. That was the first one in our process. That was like $5,500. And when I talk about these phases, none of this stuff could be possible, like Mike said, without the support of the community. This community has been great. All the local businesses and everything that sponsor teams every year, it all goes right back to the kids. Every bit of it goes right back to the kids, or field improvements, which is also helping the kids. And the boys come across, they use all the fields too for some of their tournaments. So it's not just getting utilized by girls, it's getting utilized by everyone down there. It benefits everyone. So we bought the new storage shed, and then we moved on to phase two. We did that just last year. This was 3 years ago we came up with this phase process, and phase two was, our biggest thing was resurfacing the fields and getting them adequate for games. Field one used to hold water all over the place. We had a couple of truckloads of dirt brought in. Mark Savage did some work for us down there and leveled it all out and everything. That made that better. We ended up having to add some more to it already, just because some of the spots have kind of just settled in and everything. So we got that this year to where it was good and playable. The city helped some with that. Probably 4 years ago, there was brand new dugouts built on that field and new fencing put up. So that's nice to see that fencing go up there and the new dugouts and everything. So that was completed, and then they make a substance called like turfus, and you put it on fields and it helps dry it out and things like that, and helps condition the dirt that's inside of it to make it more playable. So we've been religiously putting that on there last couple of years. The school helps fund a little bit of that on field two. This year we wanted to put the focus on field four. Sits up on the hill, so it drains pretty good on its own. We decided to put the focus on field two, which is the varsity field, and it's used the most because it's right by the concession area for rec league games. The rec league, they play in the league out of Defiance now, so we have Defiance, Ayersville, Tenora, Fairview, all these other towns coming in. So at the end of the day, the benefits aren't just for the Hicksville kids. All the kids coming in from other communities get to benefit from it as well. So our goal was to get this done in like the next 3 years. Well, with the funding, the fundraising that the kids do, we sell like raffle tickets and all the sponsorships. There were some bigger sponsors. We're able to hopefully complete both of these next couple projects this fall. So we're a couple times ahead of what we planned on being. Starting this fall, we're going to have the field two is hopefully going to be completely resurfaced with a new material. It's like a engineered material. It actually absorbs the water. Somebody's going to come in, they're going to completely level the field off, because it has, whenever it rains, there's a huge hole at home plate that water just collects right there. If you drive through the park after a big rain, you can see it setting down there. So that field will be leveled off, and the guy's going to GPS it and everything, where if there's ever any water standing, he can come back and tell us what we need to add or whatever. So we was thinking about trying to have a bunch of dads do it and everything, but being it's utilized by the school and everything else, it's like, let's just get this professionally done, and hopefully it can be set for years to come. We're hoping the big picture, years to come, we don't have to worry about doing anything but dragging and preparing these fields for games. So hopefully this fall that'll be completed. And then also up on field four, part of our phase two was the dugouts that are up there are like they look different than everything else in the park. They're white and they're not really finished and stuff, so they have no concrete inside of them. This fall, I got some volunteer guys and stuff. We're gonna put concrete in the bottom of them dugouts, and then we're gonna put gray, charcoal gray siding to match everything else on that side of the park to make it look better. We're hoping to have that completed this fall as well. So we're really making advances down there. I've talked to Mike and stuff. We've talked to some places, and it's really coming together faster than we ever thought it would. It's a slow process, but it's still, we understand it's going to take time. Phase 3 of our vision is going to be our next big step. It's in the middle right there, there's a little pavilion, and we've kind of talked to the school a little bit and stuff, and the concession stand inside there, the health department comes in and stuff, and we don't have 3 sinks like we should to sanitize, so we have to improvise and do different things. It's a small facility inside that concession stand. If you've ever been in there, it's hot. There's been a lot of people that worked in there. It's hot. It's a warm environment inside there. The person we talked to come in, and actually I talked to a guy, we was at a football game at Paulding, and they have a brand new concession stand press box at Paulding. And I talked to the athletic director, being as I have connections through the school, and he actually sent me the blueprints and stuff of what they built. The only difference is theirs is like a press box up top and a storage unit down below. What we envision is having a press box up top and a concession stand down below that's open to kind of all sides, to open to all the fields that are around there. And then the guy I was talking to said that being the plumbing and stuff's already in the old concession stand, maybe we could take some of them walls out and convert that into a whole restroom, like 2 to 3 stall restrooms on each side for everyone, which would make that better. We're not completely sure if that's feasible yet, because who knows how long that building's been there. I haven't been around long enough to know how long them buildings have been there, how good the plumbing is and things like that. But when we get closer to that phase, and we're almost to that phase, so we need to start looking into these things, I think, and keep moving forward with this project. So, and then that was the new concession stand press box and upgrading restrooms was our phase 3. And phase 4 is the field 1 that's down by the football field, would be to kind of relocate that. Them dugouts could be moved and stuff, would be where, where the old McDonald's playground used to be, right there by that. We kind of mapped it out on Google Maps and stuff, and we think that field would fit right up there beside that, where you would have field 1, field 2, field 3, and then you'd have a concession stand press box right in the middle of them that would access all 3 fields. So we kind of try to go as big as we could with this idea, and we don't know how far it'll go. We're hoping it'll go all the way, but we're gonna try to fundraise and stuff for that. But we know it's a big process, so that's kind of where we stand as far as the development of the Hicksville Rotary Softball Association. So everybody kind of has an idea where we're at and where we're going, and just trying to provide a great environment for the kids and getting them interested in the game. And there's so much that can be learned from sports, I think, that it can be a life changer for some kids. The family environment, if it's ran right, and everything. And then going on from the Softball Association, I guess this year I was blessed enough that a guy named Jay Chamberlain and I have been coaching junior high softball for the last 3 years, I think it is now. We've been coaching together, developing kids and hoping to get them coming up through and everything. Then there was an opening at the school for head softball coach this year. So Jay Chamberlain and I have accepted the position as head softball coach. So we're hoping to take what we've been developing with these kids and develop it into the high school program and everything else. So we've had a couple meetings with the girls. They're super excited, it seems like. So we're excited. We're glad that and we're hoping to move forward. And a couple things that we always talk to the girls about and stuff, and a couple things I would like to instill into the program is, number 1 is team atmosphere. The getting everyone to buy in together and being selfless and doing everything for each other, or doing it for the person next to you and not even for yourself, is huge. And I think I hope to develop that into these young ladies, and they can take that on farther in their lives. And commitment. I think today, more than ever, we all got to be committed with each other and to the people around you to be able to do what you say you're going to do and to hold your word, and I hope that we can build that back into this program. And one of the things that I was always preached to when I played sports was the family atmosphere of it. Sometimes these kids, that's the best part of their day, and they look up to you, and hopefully you can lead them in the right direction. But these kids are with you between the school day and practice, sometimes more than they're even with their parents. So I think that the leadership and stuff that we hope to instill in these kids is going to move us forward in a positive direction. And then one of the other things I wrote down was community, and they need to be as thankful for everything that the businesses and people do in this community for them is what I think they need to know and they need to be able to give back. So if there's ever anything that comes up, if anybody can think of anything that's out of the ordinary or whatever that I can do to have the kids give back to the community, that would be fantastic. I'd love to have an opportunity to do. I know Dave Moore, I've talked to Dave a lot, and they go out shoveling snow and stuff with the wrestling team and things like that. I just think that's great, be cleaning sidewalks off and repaying the favor of what the community does for them. And the last thing I wrote down for what Jay and I had talked about was accountability. You always got to be responsible for your actions, and I think that with these processes, I think we'll be able to build a program, and I think that we're really looking forward to it. So it's kind of a little bit of a new venture for us, but we've kind of been in it for a little while now. I have my wife and I have been married. Well, we've been together for like 22 years, and we got three children. I got a freshman, sixth grader, and a fourth grader. And they're all girls. So I'm going to be around this stuff for a while, I guess. So they're all pretty active in sports. So I can't thank them enough for the sacrifices they make to let me do the things I want to do and stuff. So I appreciate Mike letting me come talk today. If anybody has any questions or anything, I'd be glad to answer any questions. But I just thought it'd be great to let you guys know where we're headed as an organization, as a softball organization, and we want to institute it into one. So Jay and I want to not necessarily consider it Hicksville Girls Softball Association in the high school program. What we're going to do is we're going to take the stuff that we want to teach the high school kids, and we're going to go down to the softball association. We're going to instill these things with the coaches. We're going to have clinics for the coaches. We're going to have camps for the players, and to teach these kids at a younger age the things we want to know, so we're not teaching those at the high school level. So we're hoping this is the start of something special, and we're going to build it forward. So I appreciate the time today, and appreciate all the support everyone in the community always gives. It's great to be part of a good community. There's something special here in Hicksville.
What is the price tag?
The price tag?
Yeah.
So what? So we haven't actually got the building quoted out yet. Number one, I didn't think we'd get there quite this fast to get to that phase 3. Number 2, we was really hoping building materials because they're coming back down in price, and I think they have. From what I heard, they have. So we probably need to start getting with contractors and starting to get a price on that building. The resurfacing of the fields. The shed was like, I think I wrote everything down here. Some of it came in under. So the resurfacing of the field itself is like, it was $18,300 to completely tear out and resurface a field. Now and so that field right there, and then the dugouts for field 4 are like $6,000. Now, in the last year and a half, we've raised the money to pretty well do that, whether it be from donors or anything else. So we kind of gave a ballpark guesstimate on the concession stand press box, and I'm sure it's way high. I hope it's way high. But on our phase project, the number we looked at was like new combination press box, concession stand, upgrade the restroom facilities. And I forgot to touch on something that's right there. That also included sidewalks. Down there it's all grass. Everything's grass leading up to all these softball fields. We got one board member that's got a husband, he got sent out of his car and watch his daughter play from the parking lot because he can't get his wheelchair and stuff through the grass when it's wet outside. But what we envisioned was having a main sidewalk walk up, wrap around the press box, and then sidewalk shoot off to every field. We also thought about the process of maybe if we had big donors about putting wrought iron archways up, like you're walking to whatever field, Hicksville Rotary field or whatever, whoever the donators were, putting arches up that you walk underneath to be able to see that sort of thing, you know. And so that's included in that. And we guessed that at about $100,000. I'm hoping that's high, but I don't know I don't even know what it costs, but, you know, and yes.
I'm sorry, I let you done.
Yeah.
When I was involved, a couple of us built the girls' ball diamonds years ago because it set so far below the field that the water would run off the field into the bottom of the dugouts. And the concrete, I got Tommy Weber to donate the concrete for both of those. We got Springfield Enterprises donated. That's how we end up with gray siding on it. Springfield donated that. And then the field beside it, which I don't know if that's called 3 or whatever,
Yeah.
those are just benches back in the day before they enclosed it. There were not, the fences between the backstop and the dugouts were low, so foul balls were constantly coming off and hitting people in the face before they raised those up and made those gates bigger. We didn't have a bat, we were the only school around that didn't have a batting cage before the game. So we built the batting cage. I got the old Bill Cleland's tennis court across from Lutheran Church, gave me that chain link off of there, and the guy John Walters, Paul Walters' brother, and we took those apart and linked them and built that batting cage for the girls. We didn't have a working scoreboard, we had none of that. We built benches with a little, in the back of those girls, we put air at the top, and so people couldn't talk to the ball players, and they weren't tall enough to interfere with the girls that were playing. At the time we talked about, and there wasn't an interest in funding, and I'm so glad to hear you say this, John, was to put in announcers, especially for the girls' game, and we thought about a walkway between, and possibly even announcers for the other field beside it, and then put an area where either handicap could get, you don't want to interfere with the ball players and distract them, but along the fences on either way, that they could wheelchair to get in there and have the concessions, or maybe even have a dressing room for high school games if they needed, if they made that area, but you could walk through those, underneath those, to get to the dugouts, to the home team dugout, Hicksville, and some of those. So I don't know, I'd love to see the drawings there, but at the time, nobody wanted to finance anything, so I got Amos Miller's brother Joe to build the benches in there. We got a lot of donated help and stuff like that. In Edgerton, Stark Trust, the boards along the lower part of the dugout, the treated, came from Stark Trust. They donated that lumber. I got Dan Eicher to pour the concrete in there for nothing. So there's some people that did this, and we got them done pretty right.
Yeah.
And they kept that same color scheme. Then when they built the other dugouts, which sounds like now they're going to carry out into Field 4 or whatever that is up
Yeah.
on the hill.
Yeah.
But that's good. I hope they do it. And that concession stand too, that concrete could be cut and make those bathrooms bigger too.
Okay.
And they could take that roof off of it if they need to, but that can be opened up and made into one. But they definitely need that. They definitely need that. And I don't know whether there's ever a call to announce on that Field 3, is that what it is?
Yeah, Field 3.
There's a point lake, but they could have put something across there that was storage or even dressing rooms or concessions underneath there, whatever. They can do it right, so. That's a great idea. And then announcing your tournaments and stuff will also, by us doing the work we did, we were able to start getting the sectional games, the tournament games in Hicksville, which brings a lot of money to town, people buying gas or eating uptown afterwards or whatever. The things you're doing, you're absolutely right. They're great for the whole community.
Thank you.
I would like to personally invite you, if the girls want to come out and help with the Christmas cruise through, it's lighter work, so they don't have to shovel and hurt their shoulders for softball. But don't forget about the Christmas cruise through, because we need people to test lights.
Okay.
So the girls would be a great fit.
Okay. Thank you.
Will you be fundraising through winter time or you
Through
know-
winter time, we've talked about it. We're trying to think of different ideas to do. We, Misty Rosebrock, somebody in town, just came aboard as a board member with us and stuff. She's been thinking about some fundraising ideas, and Randy Guilford is helping us with some fundraising things, and we're trying to plan something maybe a little bit bigger, like they have like the first bingos and like a reverse raffles, because we know we're going to have to go to larger places and bigger things if we want to achieve these goals through fundraising. It's going to be a lot, but we're hoping in the our vision for that concession stand press box is 5 years down the road. If we get there faster, we do. We got there faster on this phase, so we'll see what happens, So.
Well, I'm glad you included Rotary in your plan.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me today. I really do.
Yeah.
And all the work that's been done down at the park in the past, I can't thank everyone enough for that, because you're right, it was done right. I mean, it was. We was just down the other day, Coach Chamberlain and I were down the other day reattaching some of that fence that you guys put up. That's probably the first time it's been touched since then, you know what I mean? And I took my tiller in and tilled all the stones up and stuff in there. We'd eventually like to take that batting cage and you can buy used AstroTurf now from these football fields and everything, and I thought, what better way, you're not hitting on stones, tearing the balls up and everything else. If we could buy that used AstroTurf and just line the bottom of that batting cage with it, it'd be fantastic as well. So that's kind of another thing we're thinking of, so. Yes?
Now, just a comment, when guy's granddaughter played Sonora up there, they had a game. He come up and seen the park the first time, he said, that park looks great. First time he seen it in a long time, he said. It looks like they're making some improvements, he said, it looks good. So that was his comment, he's from Maryville. He said, it looks good.
That's good. That's good to hear. We do have a nice park here in town, and it'd be good to see it keep getting. I mean, the city just that's one thing I didn't mention was that field 4 up there just got brand new fence on it, and everybody can notice that going through. The guy that put the fence in from Arrow Fence was the man that put it in 40 years ago or whatever. He was actually a worker for the company when he put the fence in, and now he's the owner of the company. So, and he's re-putting the fence in 35 to 40 years later. Actually, they was able to save the city some money and reuse all the poles that were in the ground, because he said you're not going to get that quality pole like that again. Let's leave them in the ground and paint them. So there's advantages to that kind of stuff, and it looks really nice up there. Now they got to do some finishing touches on it yet, but yeah, we just also put new windows in that concession stand, roll-up windows that hopefully won't be vandalized and things like that. Get the airflow through there and everything else. When we did that, we made sure that those windows, we talked to Auburn Doors, one that put those in, and those windows can be removed back out of there so that holes can be filled if it turns into a restroom facility, and they can be moved right over into the new facility and reused, the roll-up windows. So we just have to keep the same size opening, which it's a large opening. So that's good to hear people notice good things happening in the park.
Thank you, John.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the